Good afternoon everyone. Myself Sesha Sai Durga from the Department of Pharmaceutics. So in the last class I already discussed about the import of the drugs according to the Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1945 and its rules 1940 and its rules 1945. So in that import various criteria is given according to the act, like this is the criteria, what are the drugs are prohibited according to the act, and some of the drugs like drugs, the import of the biological drugs, how the C and C1 drugs can be imported according to the act. At the same time, how the drugs which are comes under the Schedule X. Schedule X means nothing but narcotic and psychotropic substances. So like cocaine or opium or morphine or heroin, all these are comes under the narcotic and psychotropic substances. So all these type of drugs are categorized under the Schedule X. So how the Schedule X drugs can be imported according to the act, that is also completed. And after that, drugs which can be imported for the purpose of either any examination or analysis, some test, how they can be imported, that is also completed. And finally next one, drugs which are imported only for the personal use. So what are the provisions to be followed when you are importing a drugs for our personal need? And after that, import of drugs without license. So drugs, some of the drugs can be imported without any license. So this is that criteria. And after that, finally next one is so this is about the offences and penalties. According to Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940 and its rules 1945, some of the provisions and conditions or regulations are provided by the act. So the manufacturer or the people who are involved in that activities of pharmaceuticals like import, sale, distribution, so at that time we should follow such provisions provided by the act. If any one person is convicted against the act something, so against the act if he done any mistake, then he is definitely liable to pay the fine or he will taken for the imprisonment. So these are the offences and penalties. Some of the offences are given and related their penalties. And next one, cosmetics prohibited to import. So here Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940 and its rules 1945. Not only the act is only permitted to drugs, it is also permitted to the cosmetics. In the name of the act only we can observe that name, Drugs and Cosmetics 1940 and its rules 1945. So along with the pharmaceutical substances like drugs and also cosmetics. So different activities related to cosmetics like manufacturing of the cosmetics or distribution or sale of the cosmetics or import of the cosmetics are also comes under the Drugs and Cosmetics Act only. So different activities related to cosmetics are also provided here. What are the conditions and provisions to be followed while involved in the activities which are related to the cosmetics? So here some of the activities are given, that is cosmetics prohibited to import. So when you want to import some of the drugs, what are the provisions to be followed? That is already we discussed previously. Now these are the provisions which should be followed when you want to import the cosmetics. So what are the things here given? First one, misbranded drugs. So misbranded drugs means misbranded drugs or misbranded cosmetics. The same line we already learnt in the import of the drugs. There already we learn about this one. Misbranded drugs are completely prohibited from their import. In the same way, the misbranded cosmetics are also completely prohibited from their import. What is meant by misbranded here? So the misbranded drug definitions already we learnt. Misbranded means nothing but the product is distributed into the market under the name of another drug, another standard drug, or under the labeling of another standard drug, or it is an imitation of the another standard drug. So some standard drug will be taken, but inside the container it is not having any standard substance. The inside of the container the substance is the substandard quality of the substance only, but if you see the outer appearance of the container, the labeling or the container shape, size, everything, it appears like a standard one, but it is not exactly the standard one. The inside product is the substandard quality of the product only. But if you see that appearance of the product or the dosage form or the cosmetics, it looks like up to the standard limit and it is looking like a standard drug, but it is not up to the limit and it is a lower quality of the drug, that is called misbranded cosmetics. How we are following different rules and provisions in the drugs, in the same way we are following different rules in the cosmetics also. And second one is the spurious cosmetics. Misbranded and the spurious and adulterated, all these are substandard quality of the substances. In the same way here also spurious cosmetics means it is having, if the cosmetics are containing any of dirty material or any contaminated material, or the product is not in a highest quality, so somewhat low standard, substandard quality of the product is there, then it is called spurious cosmetics. And next one, cosmetics containing harmful ingredients. Harmful ingredients and cosmetics which are not of standard quality. So harmful ingredients means when the cosmetics are used by the people. Cosmetics means directly affecting on the people's health, not only the health. When generally cosmetics means these are used for altering the appearance of any part of the human body, altering the appearance or improving the elegance of the any part of the human body. So we are using these cosmetics in a different ways, like we are using the cosmetics on the surface of our face, skin, eyes or lips, like that. In a various parts of the body generally the human beings are using these cosmetics. So on the application of a particular cosmetic, if the person get any of the adverse effects from the cosmetics, after the using of that cosmetics, if he got or if he suffered with any of the side effects of the cosmetics, then such type of cosmetics should be completely prohibited from their import. Means the cosmetics are containing somewhat harmful ingredients, that's why they are causing such type of adverse reactions or adverse effects on the people's health. So such type of cosmetics are completely prohibited from their import. And next one, cosmetics which are not of standard quality. Not of standard quality means it is not up to the standard. Maybe in the preparation of the particular cosmetic somewhat low standard ingredients are used, excipients, the chemicals or the materials what are taken for the preparation of a particular cosmetics, they may be of the low standard quality, that's why we should not use such type of cosmetics. And next one, which contains more than 2 ppm arsenic, 20 ppm lead and 100 ppm of heavy metals. So these are the some of the chemicals which are normally included in the preparation of cosmetic, like lipsticks or hair gels or nail polishes. In all those cosmetics, creams, in various ways, these are the chemicals commonly used: arsenic, lead and heavy metals. So for these three chemicals, here we are having some standard limitations or permissions for their use. That is, not more than 2 ppm of the arsenic and not more than 20 ppm of the lead and not more than 100 ppm of the heavy metals. Then these should be prohibited from their import. If the cosmetic is having, if it is containing the arsenic more than 2 ppm, then the cosmetics are prohibited from their import. In the same way, if the cosmetics are having more than 20 ppm of the lead, then also it is completely prohibited from its import. In the same way, if the cosmetics are having more than 100 ppm of the heavy metals, then also it is completely prohibited from their import. So these are some of the provisions which are related to the import of the cosmetics. So the person who want to import cosmetics from the other foreign countries, then the person must and should follow all these provisions whatever given under the Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940 and its rules 1945. Yeah, so with the topic of that import of the cosmetics. We are completed one of the topic from the Drugs and Cosmetics Act, that is import of the drugs and cosmetics. That topic is over. Now I want to start the another topic, that is manufacturing of the drugs. In the same way, have you categorized how the various criteria is given in the import of the drugs? In the same way, here also different criteria is given related to manufacturing of the drugs under the Act, Drugs and Cosmetics. So what is that criteria? First we will see. First one, prohibition of drugs from manufacturing, means completely manufacturing is banned in our country or completely prohibited a particular drug in our country. So what type of drugs which are completely prohibited from their manufacturing? In the import also we seen some of the products are completely prohibited from their import. In the same way here also some of the products are completely prohibited from their manufacturing. That is the first one. And second one, manufacturing of drugs other than in Schedule C and C1. So here the biological drugs and animal products which are prepared from the plant source, animal source, all these are categorized under Schedule C and C1. In the same way, drugs which are comes under the narcotic and psychotropic substances which are categorized under Schedule X. So apart from these two schedules, the remaining drugs all are other than the Schedule C and C1. So in the case of drugs which are other than Schedule C and C1, what type of provisions need to follow? That is given under second criteria. And the third one, manufacturing of drugs those in Schedule C and C1. So I already said to you, C and C1 means nothing but these are the biological products which are prepared from animal source. So in the preparation of such type of biological products, definitely the person should maintain different requirements of manufacturing. That is all given under schedule under this third criteria. Next, fourth one is manufacturing of drugs in Schedule X. Schedule X. Schedule X means nothing but drugs which are related to narcotic substances. That is Schedule X. And finally, we will also discuss about various licenses which are required for the manufacturing, like loan license, repackaging license. These are some licenses which are required for the manufacturing of the drugs and cosmetics. And after that, finally we will also discuss about the offences and penalties. So if any person manufacturer, any of the manufacturer, if he is not following the rules and provisions which are provided by the Drugs and Cosmetics Act, then the person will be liable to pay some fine or taken for the imprisonment. So those details are given under offences and penalties. Yeah, so first we will see the first criteria, that is nothing but drugs prohibited from their manufacturing. So what type of drugs are completely prohibited from its manufacturing? We will see first one, drugs not of standard quality or misbranded, adulterated or spurious. So already we discussed from the starting import onwards, the same points we are discussing, that is drugs if it is a misbranded drug, like imitations of the standard drug, imitations of the original drug, or drugs which are labeled under the name of a highest, a good brand of the drug. So like that imitations, such type of are called misbranded drugs. And adulterated or spurious means nothing but the original drug is contaminated with another drug, or not the whole portion, maybe a partial portion, half of the portion of the original drug is contaminated with some other imitated drug, or if it is contaminated with any of dirty material or animal waste, like that, any of other contamination, we can call it as misbranded, adulterated or spurious drug. And patent or proprietary medicine, these drugs should not be manufactured in our country. Why? Because patent and proprietary means already a particular person was taken patent regarding the manufacturing of a particular drug. Already he is the person only having the complete rights on the product who was taken the patent from the government. So only the person is having that right. Okay, and the drugs which are comes under the Schedule J, such type of drugs also should not be manufactured in our country, because the Schedule J means we already discussed about the Schedule J, that is some of the diseases which are comes under the Schedule J, like hypertension or diabetes or some other cancers, which are the permanent diseases. Means once the person get the disease, he never get the complete permanent relief from the particular disease. Only temporarily, with the use of the medicine, a temporary treatment only we can get from the drugs, but we are not getting any complete permanent cure from the particular disease like polio. So in such case, no drugs are available for the permanent relief of the or permanent cure of the particular disease. Such type of diseases are categorized under Schedule J. So for that Schedule J drugs, we should not manufacture any of the drugs. And next one, risky to human beings or animals. So risk means upon using of a particular medicine, if that medicine creates any side effects or adverse reactions in the humans or animals, then such type of drugs are completely banned. Means their manufacturing is permitted, means prohibited in our country. And next one, drugs without therapeutic value. So therapeutic value, we are manufacturing the drugs, we are using the drugs only for the cause of, only for the sake of therapeutic value only. If the drugs are not having pharmacological effect or therapeutic effect, then no need of using that particular drug. So such type of drugs also should not be manufactured according to the Drugs and Cosmetics Act. And next one, preparations which are containing cyclamates. Cyclamates means here nothing but sugar substances. Cyclamates means nothing but this is an artificial sweetener. Artificial sweetener. So one of the derived forms of the sucrose only, which is an artificial sweetener, generally used in the manufacturing of tablets, drugs, different types of dosage forms like syrups or liquid orals or some of the tablets where there is a need of a sweetener. Some of the coating substances like that, we may use artificial sweeteners. And if you see this sweetener, this is used in a very potential quantity, means very lowest percentage, because it is 50 to 100 times. It is having the sweetness, when you are comparing with the normal sucrose, it is having 50 to 100 times of the sweetness when you are comparing with the sucrose. It is having a greater activity, that is not the activity, what the word we can use, that is sweetness. The artificial sweetener cyclamates are having 50 to 100 times of the greater sweetness when you are comparing with the sucrose. So in a very minute quantity only we can use this sweetener, but when you are using these cyclamates in the production of the dosage forms or pharmaceuticals, it leads to cause different types of the adverse effects rather than giving that sweetness. Sweetness can be provided, okay, at the same time it is also creating various types of the adverse and side effects. So that's why its usage is now completely banned in India. These cyclamates are completely banned in our India and USP, means according to in the US states its usage is completely banned. That's why drugs or dosage forms which are having the cyclamates and cyclamates related products are completely prohibited from their manufacturing in our country according to Drugs and Cosmetics Act. And next one, that is manufacturing of the drugs other than in Schedule C and C1. So other than Schedule C and C1 means these are not the psychotropic substances and these are not the biological products. Other than those two categories, the remaining all comes under C and C, other than the Schedule C and C1. Here, premises should comply with Schedule M. First of all, Schedule M. Schedule M means it gives it gives one thing, that is GMP. Schedule M means good manufacturing practices. GMP means nothing but good manufacturing practices are categorized under Schedule M. So when you want to proceed to manufacture some drugs or cosmetics, then first of all the manufacturer must and should follow the GMP. GMP means good manufacturing practices. So in the laboratory or during their manufacturing, definitely whatever the provisions given by the good manufacturing practices, all those provisions and conditions must be fulfilled by the manufacturer. And second one is adequate facility for testing of drugs, and they must be separated from manufacturing. So during the manufacturing, different types of in-process quality control test should be conducted for the excipients and also API and finished products and raw materials, like that different things are there. So for the testing of excipients and the drugs, a separate premises or place will be provided in the manufacturing area. That one must be separated from the manufacturing area. Where the production is going on, far from that production area, somewhat a premises should be provided for the, especially for the testing of the raw materials and finished products. Next, adequate storage facility. Okay, after the testing, finally production is over. So then the prepared products, finished goods will be stored for some time before distributed into the market. They will be stored in the manufacturing area only for some particular time period. So that is adequate storage facility. So after the manufacturing, before releasing to the market, the products must be stored in the manufacturing area for a particular time period. So for that storage purpose, proper storage facilities must be here, and records maintained for at least 2 years from the date of expiry. So every product whatever prepared in the particular lab or particular industry, in the pharma industry, so those details, everything must be recorded in the documentation form, and those documentations must be keep it with the manufacturer only, at least for a period of 2 years from the date of expiry. So at least, even though after the expiry also, there must be, the documentation should be provided in the lab itself along with the manufacturer, at least for a period of 2 years from the date of expiry, and should provide samples to authority when required. So during the manufacturing of any of the dosage form, frequently or sometimes rarely, the drug inspector may come, and he has the right to inspect the premises, what they are doing, what type of products they are manufacturing, what type of ingredients they are used in the manufacturing, like that everything he can check, he can test. So when they are checking or when there is an inspection by the inspector, the manufacturer should provide samples to the authority when required. So from the manufacturing area, from that production area, from every batch of the product, a sample will be handed over to the drug inspector or some analyst, whoever came for the inspection purpose. We should submit some of the sample to the authorities. And next one, furnish the data of stability. After the manufacturing, directly we are not released into the market. So in between manufacturing and distribution, there will be a stability studies. So for every dosage from every product, first of all, stability studies will be conducted. After that only the product will be released into the market. So when they are conducting the stability studies, the data which is related to stability study, like what type of environment condition they are provided for the stability study, how many years or how many months, so the time period of stability study, and what they are observed, their observations, their results, everything will be provided in the manufacturing area. The data will be documented and that record should be maintained in the lab. Next one, maintain the inspection book. We already discussed here when there is the inspection by the inspector or some other authorities, then the details also should be documented in a hard copy wise, like when the inspector came for inspection and what type of samples they are taken over, and finally what they are given, like after the inspection what is the result, what they are concluded, the inspector or some other officials who came for the inspection, after their inspection and after their analysis, like what are the results they are provided finally, that is also should be documented. And next one, maintain reference samples from each batch. So every day number of productions, means a number of products are prepared, a single dose is found, but the yield is vary. First batch, second batch, third batch, like that. In a day, thousands of samples of products will be manufactured in the industry. So from every batch, the manufacturer should collect a sample. That is called reference sample from every batch. So in every day of the production, some sample will be taken over by the manufacturer and he should kept that sample aside. That is considered as the reference sample. So in such a way, for every new product, that reference sample must be maintained in the lab by the manufacturer. So these are the provisions which are related to manufacturing of the schedule C and C1, not schedule C and C1, other than the schedule C and C1. So other than narcotic substances, other than biological products, whatever the remaining are there, all are comes under this criteria. So in the manufacturing of those drugs, these are the provisions must be followed. And next one is manufacturing of drugs under schedule X. So after this we will discuss about some other three criteria are there, schedule X and some of the drugs, and what are the licenses which are required for the manufacturing, like loan license, repacking license, like that. Some things are there, some topics, those we will discuss in the next class.